Hey, this is Mark Hill. Today, let's talk about talent. Let's talk about talent and why it's absolutely overrated. Talent is nothing but consistency, persistence, and learning from failures over and over a long period of time. That's how you become quote unquote talented. Put it in the hours, put it in the work, put it in having dedication and commitment to mastering a certain skill or a certain endeavor. That's what talent is. Nobody's born the best at anything. Nobody's born world class at any endeavor. Now, sure, when someone's born, they may be able to run faster than the average person, or somebody might be born taller than the average person. So in the neighborhood, you can see a kid that can beat all the other kids in the neighborhood, in that little small bubble. Or you might see a kid that's better at math, naturally better at math than the average kid in an elementary school. But that's a small bubble. I'm talking about when you get to world-class levels, being naturally good at something isn't good enough. To get to the highest level of achievement, you're going to notice that you have to put in a lot of hours. You have to learn from a lot of mistakes. Because when you get to the highest levels, everybody has a little bit of an innate ability. Once you try to get to the NBA, everybody's tall now. So just being tall isn't good enough anymore. So don't make any mistake in thinking that, oh, this person who's world class at this or that is somehow just naturally gifted, and they just were lucky to be born with this gift. No, that person put in a whole lot of work to get to that level. So the talent thing is overrated. The talent label is somewhat of an excuse that the average or the mediocre achievers try to label the highest achievers with, just to make an excuse for not putting in the work themselves, or making the sacrifices that it takes to get to that level. Make themselves feel better. Oh, they just talented, or they were just lucky. That's why they're world class. No. I mean, you look at any case study. You look at any body that's at an elite level in what they do. They put in a lot of work. I like to use Tom Brady, the quarterback, NFL quarterback. He's known as one of the top quarterbacks of all time. Okay, but he's not necessarily that athletic. And I used to watch him back in college when he played at the University of Michigan. He wasn't really thought of as that great of a quarterback. He was just okay. He was average, above average, but not the best. Once he got to the NFL, he wasn't really drafted very, very high. But over time, he put in the work. He put in the hours. He was dedicated. And he became known as one of the best. Now, how do you go from being a little bit above average to being considered the best, or if not one of the best. Did he just naturally become more talented? No. He naturally put in more work than the average person. You look at Tiger Woods. Was he naturally born to become one of the best golfers of all time? No. He's been practicing his golf swing since he was 2 years old. 2 years old. So no wonder by the time he's 20 years old, he's been practicing for 18 years. So no wonder by the time he's 20, 21, he's considered the best golfer in the world. There's probably nobody else that's put in that much practice, put in that many hours as Tiger Woods. It's not just for sports, it's for music. Some of the best musicians of all time, like Mozart and others. Name your favorite rock star. Ask them, when did they start learning how to play an instrument? Around 3 years old, 5 years old, very early age. So by the time they're 20, they look like world-class experts. So it wasn't just natural talent. Even in business, it's the same thing. Warren Buffett bought his first stock at 11 years old. He started buying pinball machines. He was doing business while he was a teenager. And his father worked in the financial industry. So he was being groomed at a very young age to become rich. He wasn't just naturally a great businessman. He learned how to do it at an early age to become a great investor and businessman. Even if somebody's considered the best salesman in a company, that person practiced. He might have a little bit of knack for being an extrovert or conversation skills, but trust me, to become a world-class salesman, you gotta practice. You have to practice. Probably practice sales calls. A good salesman probably has to practice. Well, I know they have to. But to practice sales calls, just like a person has to practice shooting free throws in the NBA. A salesperson has to practice their sales calls if they want to be the best when it's time to actually make that sale. So whatever you want to be world class in, if you want to be known as a person ranked in the top 10% of what you do, it's not going to come from natural talent. And don't blame it on talent if you're not as good as someone else. Because that person who looks naturally talented, they put in more hours. And even when you get to the top, you still have to continue to put in the hours. It never stops. Improvement never stops. When a doctor finally becomes a doctor, that's not when they stop learning. That's when the learning really starts. That's why they call it, I have a doctor, a medical practice. They call it practice because you always have to practice. Lawyers, they call it a law practice. Because even when you consider to be a professional, you still have to practice. practice, put in the work to get better and better. It's all up to you. When it comes to personal finance, that takes discipline and practice to learn how to be good with money, to learn how to invest your money, to learn how to spot opportunities. It's trial and error. It takes practice. Warren Buffett is worth 50 or 80 billion or 90 billion, something like that. He became a millionaire in his late 20s, I believe, or early 30s. But he didn't make the bulk of his billions. The bulk of his billions didn't come to after he was 50. That's when the billions, the 90%, I believe, of his net worth came after 50. After he had a whole lot of practice with investing and spotting opportunities. And Warren Buffett is still learning. You're always learning. That's what helps you keep your edge. Know that you're always learning. The person, there's an old saying, the person who knows is the person who knows he or she doesn't know. Always keep reading, always keep learning, always keep trying to make yourself better. It's all up to you. Become world class. Put in the work. Talent is overrated.